Fertility rates for white women plummets below the limit needed to maintain the population in every single U.S. state. Fertility rates for white women were low in every U.S. state in 2017, but up in 12 states for black women and up 29 states for Hispanic women. The total fertility rate for the U.S. was 16% below the level of the population to replace itself. It was only higher than what is needed in two states, South Dakota and Utah. Fertility rates for white women were down in every U.S. state in 2017, below the rate needed for the population to replace itself, and a new report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reveals. However, among black and Hispanic women, fertility rates were up in 12 and 29 states respectively. When researchers looked at fertility rates for women of all age groups and races, they found that nationwide rate was 16% lower, what is considered the level for a population to replace itself. Experts say this is likely due to the fact that the large portion of native-born women are having fewer children than before, while the much smaller portion of immigrant-born women are having more children. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right there, and then I'm going to have the link below to this article so you guys can read it if you like. U.S. birth and fertility rates in 2020 dropped to another record low. Births fell for the sixth consecutive year to the lowest level since 1979. The U.S. birth rate is so low the nation is below replacement levels, meaning more people die every day than are being born. The U.S. birth and fertility rates in 2020 dropped to another record low as births fell for the sixth consecutive year to the lowest level since 1979, according to the new data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention National Center for Health Statistics. The number of births in the U.S. declined last year by 4% from 2019, doubled the average annual rate of decline, 2% since 2014, the CDC said in a preliminary birth data released Wednesday. Total fertility rates and general fertility rates also declined by 4% since 2019, reaching record lows. The U.S. birth rate is so low the nation is below replacement levels. This is while the agency didn't directly attribute the overall drop in births to the COVID pandemic. It looked at birth rates among New York City women who delivered their babies outside of the 5 boroughs during the height of the outbreak in the U.S. Women fled the city to give birth from March through November last year, with out-of-town births among New York City residents peaking in April and May at more than 10% for both months, and more 70% increase from the previous year. Among white women, the percentage of out-of-town births were 2.5% higher in 2020 than 2019. Out-of-town births among black and Hispanic women were considerably lower and increased only for 2 of the months last year. Overall, the number of births declined 3% for Hispanic women, 4% for white and black women from 2019 through 2020. Okay, so if you would like to read this article, I will have this article below. So as you see that, white women in all of the states, just about in the United States, are having a hard time, conceiving. So in my opinion, I feel like they're attacking the indigenous women because they're outproducing them, and that the indigenous women that they reclassified as black, Negro, colored, and as of lately African American, that they are committing genocide against these women because the indigenous women are creating more babies than white women. And to me, that's what it seems like. Seems like a thing of maybe envy or jealousy or something like that. Let me know what you think about this whole situation and this whole phenomenon between what I talked about previously about the astronomical rate of black women, indigenous women, being killed after childbirth versus white women not dying after childbirth.